right. I'm CORVAIRWILD on YouTube and... All right.
Okay, this is the 4-wire plug from the car to the voltage regulator on a late model Corvair.
65, because my gen fan light is not working, so I don't know when my belt flops off.
So the first 2 wires, the blue wire is the field terminal. The second wire is what's called the relay terminal. The third wire is 12 volts hot. And the fourth terminal is the wire that comes from the warning light on the dash of the car.
Brown with a white stripe?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, I see it.
So these 2 wires are just a continuity check between the alternator. This goes to the alternator, the field and the relay wires. Okay, that's just a direct continuity.
And these go on the alternator, because I took them off to change my plug. It was melted.
Yep.
And I mixed them.
Ooh.
Yeah, so someone sent me a wiring diagram. Nothing happened. Didn't do a thing.
Okay.
Didn't do a thing. So the blue goes on the top.
Well, it's actually marked on the proper alternator. It says FR on the plug.
So blue is the field.
Blue is the field and relay is the white.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to measure and make sure you got battery voltage at number 3. That's the sense wire that tells the regulator how much voltage is in the car. And that wire's got to work. Okay, but that's not keyed. That's 12 volts hot all the time. Okay, but the fourth one is on the key. So how the circuit is of course the power goes into the front of the car, goes to the ignition switch. The ignition switch turns the power on and sends the power to the warning light on the dash.
Which illuminates when you turn the key forward.
No, not at that point. Then you turn the key on, there's power sent to the light. The other wire of the light, it comes back to here because it's the regulator that turns the light on and off. Okay, so the regulator is the grounding for the warning light. So to test that circuit, you want to disconnect this wire from the alternator regulator.
The whole plug.
The whole plug like this.
Yep.
And take a connector and ground that connection. So you take a wire here and ground it to the negative of the body somewhere. Then go back in the car and turn the key on. You should have a warning light, gen fan the warning light. If you don't, then the problem is between here and the front of the car. Warning light's out, wiring problem somewhere. There's also a built-in resistor in the wiring harness in the car because they've designed it so you can energize the regulator if the warning light burns out. So there's like a bypass resistor in the wiring harness.
With a diode?
No, it's not a diode. It's a 10 ohm resistor built into the wiring harness.
Hidden underneath the vinyl tape.
Right.
The non-sticky vinyl tape.
And how you know if that's good or not, I don't know if you've ever noticed, when you go to start your car, when you go into the on position, the gen fan comes on, but it's not super bright. It's not as bright as the gen fan or the temp press light, but when you go to the start position, that light gets brighter. I don't know if you've ever noticed that.
I don't think I have.
Okay, but that's how you know if that resistor wire is good or not. If the resistor wire is not good, it won't get brighter when you go to start the car.
When you turn it to the start position,
because
which cranks the engine.
Because that comes in through the accessory wire too. The other way to check that is when you put the switch in accessory position, the gen fan light will glow. Just
very I always
faintly.
wondered, my 66 Skylar Grand Sport, which I haven't driven in a million years.
This version of the GM cars do that. That's for that.
It glows very dimly.
Glow, yeah. That's another way to test to make sure that resistor is working. Okay. If that resistor opens up, the system will still work as long as the warning light works. But if the warning light works out, then you'll lose your charging system.
Because I do charge, but I don't have a gen fan light.
Okay, it may be just the bulb.
So when you turn the key forward, the oil pressure light goes on, and when you turn the key to start, the spring-loaded momentary part of the switch, the gen fan light illuminates because it grounds this.
No, when you have your key on before the engine starts,
in the run position.
Yeah, in the run position without the engine running, the regulator grounds that wire. But because the resistors in that circuit, that wire is not, or that bulb is not going to be as bright as it would. Because what makes it brighter is that resistor is actually connected to the accessory side of the switch. That's why you get the 10 ohm glow on the accessory position. When you're in the on position, there's more power there because it's coming through both the accessory and the run circuit. But when you turn it to start, you lose the accessory circuit. Because remember, when you go to start your car, it turns off the radio and the heater. And
that's why all that goes off. You lose the accessory position. Also, all your accessories momentarily disappear. I understand.
Okay, but you also lose that 10 ohm resistor, so that's why the light gets brighter during. And now on a power glide car, it's easy to see that. You just put it in a gear and turn it, and you can actually see that light get brighter and dimmer. It's a little harder on a.
Because when you put it in, the neutral safety switch prevents it from starting in drive or reverse.
It still turns the AC.
But it still turns, so the light will still illuminate.
Right. Well, it gets brighter.
You know what the bottom line is here?
Right.
How much is a plane ticket from Indiana to the Adirondacks? Crack that baby up!
Okay,
All right,
buddy.
that's our lesson. Now we know
Okay,
why
that's
our
our- now we gotta
fan
put his
light
car
might
back
not be
together.
working. And where is that resistor in the wiring harness? Is it in the
I
tunnel?
never ripped the wiring harness.
I wonder if...
It's usually around the, I think it's between the fuse block and the ignition switch.
Phew!
See it without unwrapping the wiring.
Yeah, right. It's a lump somewhere.
It's in one of them special wires, similar to the ballast resistor wire.
Right.
That's
It's a
in this
thick.
harness.
It's a thicker
It's a
wire
thick
that has some cabling.
cloth-colored.
Right.
You know.
All right. That's our lesson.
That's our lesson for
And
today.
yes, sir. We love our Corvairs.
We sure do. Thank you, Andrew.
Crank that baby up. Dump. Corvair late model. This is the late model assembly of Corvairs.
This is a Canadian car.
65. Oh, a Canadian car, eh?
Canadian car.
Oh, yeah. That's got the trunk is painted in Canadian, eh?
This car was built in Canada and it was sold in Manitoba originally.
And it does not have a W or a C, an L. Is it L for Los Angeles?
Yes.
In the VIN plate.
Right.
And the body plate is totally different.
Yeah, it's totally different. That's true.
Yeah. Interesting. I hadn't
Now
even thought
this
about
thing,
it.
he's asked me about these tubes in here.
GM Canada DD.
Yeah, delivery date.
Delivery date.
Yeah, that's what the DD means.
But
Because the dealers were supposed to stamp the delivery date in that, but
No
most
way.
of them never did.
Never saw that. You were saying about the tube?
Because this car has these, feel these tubes under here?
Yeah.
I think that's a block heater, or pan heater.
Oh, an electric.
Yeah, electric.
A magnetic
pan heater,
electric.
yeah. I think that's what that is. Because he says he thought it was some sort
Delivered
of...
in Pembino Motors, Manitoba.
Yep.
H.H. Ashley is written in between. H.H. Ashley. Pembina Motors, H.H. Ashley. Whatever that means.
Well, anyway, that's how you check it, Andrew.
All righty.
Your warning light's just out.
Crank that baby up.